Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Just My Thoughts. I'm your host, Eric Daniel Coughlin, and today we're going to sum up what we were supposed to sum up last night. I ran out of time, got rambling on and thinking too much about one thing and not enough about another. So today's thought tracker is going to be talking about the Chicago Bears. Now, of course, we've already talked about the Chicago Bears several times on the offseason and how they did, but here's the thing: they just made some moves just this last week. So we're gonna recap pretty much what the Bears are looking like now. So we just signed Yannick uh, Ngaku. I think is how you say his name, Ngakwe. Maybe it's Yannick Ngakwe or Ngaku. Either which way, it's a really strange foreign name. But it's the defensive end to come out of Indianapolis Colts last year. I'm not exactly sure how long he played for the Colts, and actually, I'm pretty sure that the Colts ain't the only team he's played for. A part of me wants to believe that he was a Minnesota Viking at one point in time. So this guy has been in the league. I'm going to say minimum 6 years. I'm going to say that maybe he got drafted by Minnesota, worked out some trades, ended up uh, in Indiana, and now he's a Chicago Bear. But this is good news. This is good news because he's not very old. Like I said, I'd say tops 6 years. He's been in the league tops, maybe eight. Um, he was the Colts' leading sacker last year. He had averaged, not averaged, he had recorded 8.5 sacks last year for the Colts. And the Colts really, pretty much were, or and still committing to a rebuild. So he doesn't really fit their whole scheme. They're trying to go young and trying to go fast and trying to go strong. And in my opinion, I think he is young, he is fast, he is strong. So I think he flips the bill for any team in the NFL. The fact that he's coming to us just makes me feel so much better about our rebuild, because that really was something that we didn't attack during this offseason. During the whole entire time, we got linebackers galore during the draft. We got wide receivers, cornerbacks, running backs. How we drafted almost every position out of the draft, and so we didn't really spend a lot of time on the defensive line. Now I understand that we drafted two rookies for the defensive line, and I also had made the claim state that both of those rookies will probably be playing this year, and I still believe that. I still believe both of those rookies will get definite starting positions, because the defensive tackle was our weakest position last year. And I think that we kind of had some okay ends last year. I think Travis Gibson was definitely coming into this year looking to be a starter. And I think Dominic Robinson was going to be a starter. Dominic Robinson was going to be a starter. He was our starter last year. But now that we've got Yannick, it's safe to say, excuse me one second, it's safe to say that Yannick is going to step in and be the opposite side of Travis Gibson. I still believe Travis Gibson will be the guy starting, but I think Yannick and Ngakwe will be the other defensive end. And then still going strong, I'm still going to predict and still standing hold to my prediction that both of those rookies will start. And that's Gervin Sr., Gervin Sr., Dexter, and Zach Pickens. There you go, Zach Pickens and Gervin Dexter. I'm still claiming to be, week one starters, even though they're both drafted this year, even though they're going to be rookies. I mean, here's the thing about rookies: most of them, unless they're a quarterback, they don't really look to get a lot of playing time. But this is, we're in our second year of our rebuild, so our rookies are looking to get a lot of playing time. And I've already predicted that those guys are going to start. And I also told you guys that I think Tyler Scott is definitely going to get a lot of playing time. I think Roschon Johnson. Definitely going to get a lot of playing time. I think a lot of our rookies, we drafted like 10 of them. I'm going to say 6 of them are getting shit ton of playing time. And I'd say all 10 of them are probably, rather it be via it be special teams or, I think all of them are going to get playing time. I'm just saying that's what happens when you rebuild. I mean, you don't go out and draft guys and have a need for them and not use them. So almost all of our veteran core was shipped out last year, and who we didn't ship out, we didn't re-sign. Guys like Nicholas Morrow didn't come back and stuff like that. So you better believe that these rookies are going to get to play. And you also better believe that all these guys that we spent all this money on during the free agency is going to get the play. Terrell Edmonds will be a starter. T.J. Edwards will be a starter. Delaney Walker. That's another thing that's interesting too. Is even though I like Travis Gibson, and I also like Yannick Ngakwe, I still like the Delaney Walker trade that we got from Tennessee. I think that he's going to make a lot of noise too. So defensively, we're going to be a brand new squad. Really, the only thing that didn't change is our secondary. We're still going to have Eddie Jackson, thank God. We're still going to have Jaquan Brisker, who was a rookie last year. We're still going to have Kyler Gordon, thank God. And we're still going to have Jalen Johnson, thank God. I think if you just judge our secondary and then you add the rookies that we drafted, like Tyreek Wilson and I hope I said that right, Tyreek Wilson. And there's another guy that we drafted in like the 6th round. We drafted a couple of DBs. I think they're primarily going to be. Excuse me. I think they're primarily going to be, like I said, special teams players. But I also think they're going to be in the lineup, as backups, as reserves. They'll get some playing time outside of special teams. You better believe that. So, like I said, a brand new defense. So the only thing that stayed the same was our secondary. And then, like, as far as linebacker, veteranship, Jack Sanborn was a rookie last year, an undrafted rookie last year, and he didn't even get to start playing until we got rid of Roquan Smith. So he really only played, what would you call that? Maybe 10 games, almost, you know, 2/3 of the season. I guess that's what you would call that, 2/3 of the season. So, I mean, and I don't expect him to lose a starting position either. I expect him to be a starter on day one, along with T.J. Edwards and along with Terrell Edmonds, because we run a 4-3 defense. So that's who I'm looking at being our 3 guys back there at the starting linebacker position. And then again with our secondary, who I just listed all 4 of them. So secondary A plus, linebacker core highly upgraded. I'd want to say A plus. Defensive line highly upgraded. I want to say A plus. I'm going to say even though we only won 3 games last year, we kind of played okay defense. And what I mean by that is literally 9 of the 13 games that we lost last year were 1-score games. We really only got blew out of the water about 3 or 4 times last year. Every other game outside of those 4 games were competitive games, were really close in the trenches games. The fact that we upgraded our defense changes that entirely. I'm going to say that 9-13 is going to be 9 wins, not 9 losses. Now, are we going to be blowing people out? Quite possibly. I think offensively, we didn't really change a lot, but we changed in the ways that made sense. So obviously, we fixed up the offensive line. We got guys to come over. We picked up Nate Davis from Tennessee, which is a great pickup. And then we drafted, Darrell Wright. Did I say that right? Darrell Wright? I hope that I'm saying that right. But either which way, big boy out of Tennessee. He's going to be day one starter. And then, the rest of the line is going to fall over. Who played last year is probably going to play this year. So that being said, we upgraded either which way. Our line kind of got us in a lot of trouble. But here's the thing: everybody was playing positions that they didn't necessarily play because of injuries, right? So we had a center playing the guard position. We had a tackle playing the guard position. We had our center, right tackle play center. We had a lot of things that was just completely ugly last year. And I think, during the offseason, we cleared all that up with trades and with signing players and bringing in new talent from the draft. I think offensively, we're probably going to have the greatest offense we've ever seen in Chicago, in Chicago Bears history. And I say that and I say this. We have an opportunity to have 3 starting wide receivers over 1,000-yard wide receivers. And I'm talking about Chase Claypool. I'm talking about Darnell Mooney. And I'm talking about DJ Moore. So that being said, then you gotta factor in Cole Kmet, right? Cole Kmet is very eligible for 1,000-yard receiver. So it's very possible that we see Justin Fields throw over 4,000 yards. And even if he doesn't, he's going to be knocking at the door 36, 37, 3,800 yards. Even if Cole Kmet doesn't quite make 1,000, he'll make 600 or 700. And then, Mercedes Lewis, that's another guy we got just last week. We got Mercedes Lewis, who's a veteran tight end. And then we also got Robert Tonyan, a veteran tight end. We got these guys, both of these guys we got from Green Bay Packers, actually. It's kind of crazy that we did that, but we did. And Mercedes Lewis has been around the league. Don't think that he's only been a Packer. If you think that you have never watched football before, Mercedes Lewis has been on. This will be his fourth team, and this will also be like his 16th season in the NFL. So he's like extremely old, but he's still credible. You know what I mean? Even if all he does is teach people the game, that is worth him coming over and doing that, shaping up these young bucks. That's what we need. We need veteranship. We need leadership. We need someone who's been around the block 100 times is going to teach these boys how to get there. So I think that again, I think that is impressive enough by itself. Getting older guys to come into the league and want to buy into what we're doing in Chicago, it means a lot. It means a lot because we need a lot. We need a lot of help. We need a lot of teaching. We need a lot of coaching. We need a lot of guys that are going to show up every day and go home when they're supposed to go home and perform the way they're supposed to perform as professionals. And the more you see people do that, the more it grows like like a habit. You see them do it, so then you want to do it. So then they're showing you the way of how to be a professional. That's why I think Mercedes Lewis come to Chicago to begin with, and I think it's a great idea that he did. I think it was a great idea by Ryan Poles to bring him to Chicago. Good job on that because I've always liked him. He's a very reliable threat in the red zone. So things don't go wide. Just say we get down there, things get tough, and we're at the 4 or 5 yard line, and we can't really just get in there. Mercedes Lewis is the kind of guy that can just stand over defense and say, "Hey, throw me the fucking ball." I mean, he's tall, he's big, he can jump. He can do it all. He has been doing it all for a very long time. So again, it's a very good signing. I think our offense is going to be scary good. Now let's talk about the running backs for a second. So this is how I primarily see what's going down in the running back area of our team. Now it goes without saying. I think Khalil Herbert obviously goes in as the day one starter, and he deserves that. He's been on the league. This will be his fourth year on the team. No, wait. Herbert. Maybe Herbert's maybe third year on the team. So he's coming in and he's definitely going to be, day one starter. Then Roshan Johnson probably going him being a rookie, he's probably going to be the third backup. I think the second backup goes to Dante Foreman. But again, this is what I don't think none of those guys run for 1,000 yards, but I think collectively all of them they're probably going to average around the same amount of numbers. I think that because Khalil Herbert's such a smaller guy, he's not a power back, right? So the power back situation is going to go into Dante Foreman. And if Foreman gets hurt, it's going to go into rookie sensation Roshan Johnson. I think Roshan Johnson has the opportunity to play special teams, maybe as a returner um, and third down packaging. I think he's going to be the guy you need to watch out for jet sweeps. And definitely, like in no-brain situations, it's 4th and 2. We need somebody that's going to break about 3 or 4 tackles. I think Roshan Johnson's that guy. If you do your history, if you do some studying, watch some Texas football, watch some Roshan Johnson highlights. This guy is a cannonball. People bounce off of him, and he bounces off of other guys. So, like, if we need 2 yards, he's going to get them, right? He's going to run in there and just try to pretty much do a hit drill on the defender's linebacker and bounce off of him. Maybe the linebacker bounce off of him. You never really know. He's a powerful guy. Very little, very fast, very almost like a Jerome Bettis, but a smaller body frame. I mean, I'm not making this up. I've watched video after video after video of Roshan Johnson, and the more I watch, the more I like. He's very impressive. So I think all of these guys are going to average around, that 700 mark. So I mean, I'm talking about playing 3 of them. I think Khalil Herbert gets 700, 800 yards. I think Foreman gets 500, 600 yards, and then I think Roshan Johnson as a rookie does that. I think he gets 500 or 600. So I think on the ground we're looking at rushing for 1,500, 1,600 yards rushing on the ground with 3 running backs, and then to factor in, the 400 or 500 that Justin's going to get next year. We're going to have on the ground about a 2,000 yard production running the ball between Justin Fields, Khalil Herbert, Roshan Johnson, and Dante Foreman. That's phenomenal. And then again, I think 4,000 in the air. So I think we're going to have a 6,000 yard, almost close to 7,000 yard offense. And it sounds like I'm being really exaggerant, but I'm really not. I'm not being exaggerant at all. We had a lot of problems last year with keeping Justin on his feet, And because we couldn't really block for him, it forced him to run all over the place. And he did a very, very good job, by the way, of him doing that. I think he ran for 1,000 yards last year. That won't be a problem this year. Justin Fields won't be looking to run 1,000 yards this year, and he won't be the most sacked quarterback in the league this year. We upgraded majorly on the offensive line. We upgraded majorly defensively. So that means, and here's the thing that goes unseen. When you upgrade your defense, when you become very dominant, you create chances to score, which will happen. I think that I think with Jalen Johnson and with Eddie Jackson, I think that leaves us opportunities for pick sixes. So I think our defense can score. With the additions of T.J. Edwards, Terrell Edmonds, and Jack Sanborn trying to make a name for himself, I think that gives us plenty of opportunity to force fumbles. The brand new defensive line, everybody on the defensive line is brand new except for Travis Gibson. And Travis Gibson's, he struggled last year, but he only struggled because he didn't have help. Now he's got a shit ton of help. So again, I think that means it generates sacks for our defense. I'm going to just make a bold statement and say I think Yannick Nagu, or excuse me, I think I'm saying that right anyway. I don't know why I said excuse me. Yannick Nagu, Nagi, whatever however the hell you say his name. I'm gonna say he's gonna be our sack leader. I'm just gonna go on, even though he's the newest team, our newest member of the team, and he's the last person we spent money on. I'm still going to say I think he's gonna lead our team in sacks. A day one starter. Um, Defensively, I don't think there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to take us too serious because of our last year's record. But the joke is on them. We're not who we were last year. People are banking on us sucking. They can keep on banking and they're going to go bankrupt because it's not going to happen. I think this is the greatest Bears team that I've got to see in my life. Second greatest Bears team I got to see in my life. Now, you have to understand this. I'm a diehard Jay Cutler fan, and I'm a diehard Brandon Marshall fan, and I loved Devin Hester, and I loved Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher and Charles Tillman. So I mean, those guys are legends in my opinion, and not just mine, in everybody's opinion that's a Bears fan. You guys know where I'm coming from. Maybe outside of the Jay Cutler thing, for some reason Jay Cutler's really really hated for absolutely no reason. But that's just life in Chicago anyway, right? So if you don't give them championships, they're not going to love you. People say the same thing about Luol Deng and Kirk Heinrich and Ben Gordon. They called us the baby Bulls, and everyone's like, "Oh, the Bulls are dead." We suck ever since Jordan left. That's not true at all, and it holds the same for the Bears. It's not true. We don't suck. We've had a couple of horrible years, and I think that it's finally time to put it behind us. I don't think the world is going to be ready with how good we're actually going to be. Now, again, this is just my thoughts, right? This is my show. This is my entitlement. This is how I feel, how I think, and how I feel as a fan. But that being said, I've been a fan for 25 years, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. We've been waiting for the glory days for a very long time. We've been really close a couple of times. We were close with Mitch Trubisky. A lot of people give him, trash talk, but to me, just be respectful because he's the last person that won our division. A lot of people give trash talk to Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, again, won our division. So people hate the guys that were actually bringing us success. So I don't understand why there's any hatred for them at all. I have nothing but love for both of those guys, and I actually root for Mitch Trubisky to take the starting job in Pittsburgh. I'm not a Pittsburgh fan. I'm just a Mitch Trubisky fan, so I'm rooting for him to take that starting spot out there and say the hell with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett. I'd like to see Mitch take his job, and I'd like to see Mitch have a successful career because he was successful in Chicago, and then he was also going to be successful in Buffalo. See, here's the thing: Buffalo offered him a contract to stick around and be Josh Allen's backup. He didn't want to stick around. He doesn't want to be a backup. Period. That's why he went to Pittsburgh because he thought that he was going to guaranteed be the guy. And then what they do, they fucked around and they drafted the guy, and then they give him the starting job. So again, I don't. Mitch is not going to sign any long-term contract if he has to compete for a job. Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to be continuously rooting for him to take that starting job. And if he doesn't, I'm going to continuously root for him to stay into the league and find a starting job because he is a successful quarterback. And that is the truth. So I say this, and I should have broke this down. I should have a cheat sheet. Usually, I have a cheat sheet, guys. I always make notes, write notes, and I keep it on me at all times. But I didn't do that, so I'm going to predict that we're going to be a 12-5 team this year. But if we go 11-6, or if we go 10-7, that'll still be acceptable. This is the reason why, because last year we were 3-14. So you see what I'm saying? I'm saying we're definitely winning easily 7, 8, 9 more games than what we won last year. Easily, easily. You have to take us seriously. If you don't, we're going to make you regret it. And as a matter of fact, I'm kind of rooting for everyone not to take us seriously because I'm just ready for us to win our division multiple years in a row. I'm going to make the claim before. Now, again, preseason is this weekend. Actually, you might get a game Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, all week long. Be prepared to be watching preseason football because it's going down. It happens. It's happening. But I do know this. I do know that we have a okay schedule. I'm not going to say it's an impossible schedule. I'm not going to say it's an easy schedule. Mainly because of the way our division has changed. Our division alone kind of makes it a pretty rough schedule. But I'm going to make some bold predictions for you guys, all you Bears fans out there that want to know what I think about the team. This is exactly what I think. And if you think I'm crazy, I don't really care. But I think that we're going to go undefeated in the division this year. That's right. So that's 6 games already, boom, right there. And then I also think that we're going to pick on a certain division, which happens to be the NFC. What is that? The South, with the Buccaneers, with the Saints, with the Panthers, and with who's that other team out there? Saints, Bucks, Panthers. I don't know who that other team is out there. I'm thinking. Carolina Panthers, Tampa Buccaneers, New Orleans Saints. I don't know who that other team is out there, but that's the division I'm looking to pick on this year. I don't think any team in that division can beat us, and so again, that's 4 more. So the 6 that we get out of the division, and the 4 that we get from the NFC South, that gives us 10 victories, right? Right. So then we also have to play the Denver Broncos. We have to play the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Kansas City Chiefs, right? So I think that we can beat the Broncos. I think that we can beat the Chargers. So that's the 12. That's the 12 games that I'm talking about now. So that means we're going to lose 5. Kansas City. They're probably going to tag us. I'm going to say the Raiders have a very good opportunity to tag us, all because of Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm going to say that. Let's see, that's 2 games. Who else we got on the schedule this year? I should have pulled that up. Let me just pull this up. I shouldn't do that, but I'm going to. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, the Washington Commanders. They don't stand a chance against us. So I definitely think 13 might even be possible. Cleveland could possibly beat us. I don't think the Cleveland Browns are a trash team in the NFL anymore. I think that they are a very serious team. And I think you have to take. I think everybody in the NFL has to take those guys serious. They have a very dynamic running back duo. They have 2 guys that can probably run for 1,000 yards apiece. That's pretty serious. So when you can run the ball like them, it doesn't necessarily mean anything like throwing the ball. You probably don't even have to throw the ball much. I think that, they could go out there, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson can throw like 225 yards per game and have a great year, all because of their running backs. Now, am I saying they're going to beat us? I'm saying it's possible that they can beat us. So I'm saying possibly lose 5 games, possibly win 12 games. But, all that has to be seen and be done, and then we'll find out where we are. All that being said, I am claiming to be the best team in the NFC North. I am claiming to win our division. I am claiming to be undefeated in our division. I am claiming to be a guaranteed playoff team. And I'm also guaranteeing to win a playoff game. Like, I think that we're going to be competing in the championship, NFC championship game. Um, and I don't know exactly who I'm going to be claiming to be up there with us because, truth be told, the NFC is getting kind of weak. So I would say I would have to favor the Philadelphia Eagles. They didn't really lose anybody, they didn't really gain anybody. They stayed exactly the same, and it's been good enough for them for the last 2 or 3 years. So I'm going to say it's going to continue to be good for them. So, I mean, if I were to make a bold prediction onto who's going to be competing for the Super Bowl, I'm going to make a bold prediction and say that I think that it's going to be the Bears versus the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Winner take all, go to the Super Bowl. And that being said, I don't think any AFC team can really destroy us. So I think if we can muscle our way into the Super Bowl, we can muster out a win. Now, there are teams better than us in the AFC. Cincinnati Bengals definitely tear our ass up. We probably don't want no business of that. The Bills would be very tough. We probably don't want no business in with that. And Kansas City plays a lot like us. They have a young, fast running back or quarterback likes to run around and throw the ball, but they're getting old. Who they are is who they've been for the last 5 or 6 years. So I really think that the advantage goes to us being brand new, being young, being fresh, being ready. I really think that we can compete against Kansas City, even though I just said that they might beat us. Again, I'm saying might. It goes both ways. We might win, we might lose. That's the glory of football, right? And all sports, when you're competing, you're either going to win or you're going to lose, but the odds are not really favored against us. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to pretty much wrap up the show. If you enjoyed what you heard, you like what you seen, always feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you're feeling generous, always feel free to cash at me, Erick Coughlin, hashtag Coughlin Pride. Have a nice day. And bear down, go Bears.